This conference will now be recorded.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. Please bear with me. This just happened in the last hour or two, so. Okay, we're going to start with our approval of minutes from our regular meeting of July 8th.
Make a motion, we approve the July 8th minutes.
Second. We have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. On to announcements. I want to acknowledge we received our second quarter overtime report and show appreciation to our department heads for keeping the hours down. I also want to bring note of some information that was in the New Sun this morning. The World Atlas, published July 13th of 2025, lists Albion among the 9 picture-perfect main streets in Indiana. And I want to share with you a quote that's in the article. "We are excited to be recognized for the beauty of our historic downtown," said Lori Gagan, president of the Albion Star team. "In a community as small as Albion, it takes a lot of people coming together with a shared passion to preserve and enhance what we are blessed to have here. We have a great community." And I want to second that. It's everyone from these non-for-profit volunteer organizations to the county that maintains the courthouse area, to all of our department heads and our workers. And I know they all take great pride. So thank you very much. It truly takes a village, and I am proud to live and serve Albion, and I know the rest of you are as well. So any other announcements? Okay, on to any open discussion.
I just wondered, do we have anyone representing the town at the meetings that Central Noble is holding as they work through plans for the future? And
I have been going to
Okay.
those, and Scott is most generally there.
Okay. I just was curious.
I started out going as a concerned grandparent, but there has been some talk that prompts questions for the town, so it's kind of serves a dual purpose. But Scott's kind of at the front of that. I'm just hearing it from the back.
One of my questions was in concern with, or in relation to the Cougar Court person that's supposed to be there with Jason at the crossing, as the crossing guard on our side, and then it sounds like they might be soliciting a volunteer. Is that correct?
Well, it's been the maintenance department that's been on the opposite side of Jason.
Okay,
I haven't heard any change, but
okay,
if there is a change, I'll get to you guys.
okay. I was just, yeah.
Last night was kind of a pivotal point to what the board wanted to do.
Okay,
So maybe things will start becoming more detailed
Okay.
before the start of school.
perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other open discussion? Okay, we will move on to our department head reports. Chief Amber.
You received those, I think, just yesterday, so I'll give you plenty of time to review if you haven't yet, or you have any questions.
Did you get my email on the fire department? I was concerned that the floor was only 4
Yes.
inches thick.
Yes, I'm gonna email into a gentleman to see what maybe an additional 2 to 4 inches, whatever they recommend would be the next step up.
Are you planning on a forklift being driving around in there?
Not repeatedly.
Okay, because he was, they're having that mezzanine, and I was wondering if there's any storage up there, and I thought if there was a forklift driving around on 4 inches of concrete, that is not recommended.
Yeah,
It's
so,
supposed to be 6 inches of concrete.
yeah, the mezzanine is going to be designed so that a forklift could get up to there. Not saying it ever will, but we will have a balcony that has a removable section so that we can lift up. And we don't have a forklift. I think there's Bobcat, which might be equally as heavy.
Usually forklifts are a lot. I don't know. I really don't know.
No, I've got an email out to a gentleman to see what the next step could be to increase that.
And you might not even need that on all of it, you know, you might not, you maybe just need that in a section or
Okay.
so.
Okay, yeah.
I just know that my concrete cracked, Bob, and I'm very unhappy about it, so.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I need to.
And it's your wife's birthday,
It
right?
is my wife's birthday and she is preparing a meal for
She's working on her birthday.
30 firemen.
Great,
coming in.
great.
Oh my goodness, happy birthday.
That lady she is.
Thank you, Bob.
Are you leaving early?
I can hang around for a little bit if you think I'll fall into it.
I do have a question for
Sure.
you. Something was brought to my attention today. Did the fire department recently conduct a survey amongst themselves?
Yes.
Is that something that's gonna come to us, or is there any need for it to come to
No,
us?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so. I would gladly share it with you. I don't feel it needs to go external. It was just kind of, where do you feel the department's at? Where do you feel we need to improve? The biggest thing is it's getting run responses in the evening and night. And it's kind of like, all right, what's it gonna take to get guys out of bed at night? Get guys and gals to make these runs. So, yeah.
Were you struggling with that?
Yeah, I mean, we've yet to strike out, but you know, the same two or three of us are
Handle it.
getting them all.
Any other questions for Bob? All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
On to the police department. Scott,
Thank you, Vicki. We should have got a report from me maybe Thursday. I will gladly field any questions on that report that you may have. A lot of information on just a few topics. So, the actual run report, is pretty normal.
I want to expand just a little bit on the school, what we learned last night at the meeting. That's one of Scott's items of business on his report. I appreciate that Scott, he's met with them outside of school board meetings, and I appreciate that. Everybody was kind of waiting till a final decision was made last night, and that when announced that they did do away with one complete bus route in town. I do understand. I'm not real happy about it. I think there's a grave concern of safety. It's not just crossing State Road 9 and State Road 8. Oak and York, as well as many, many streets, have lots of traffic at that time of day. It's going to potentially put 50 plus more kids walking on the streets rather than at a bus stop. So I don't know the best way to get that out. It's not just the people that get informed through the school. So Matt, whatever you can do, I'd like to see our Facebook page, our website, whatever we can do. Kids crossing the little streets are almost worse than the bigger streets. And they do want to direct all the walking to the stoplight in Albion. You know, regardless of where I live on Highland Street, 4 blocks west, and the school sits 4 blocks east. And that is not going to be the safe passage for the kids to get to school. So, I mean, I appreciate that we've had the bus as long as we have had. And there is a little bit of misrepresentation. It is not a radius. The decision was not made based on a radius. They took other things into consideration like sidewalks. So my question was, you're still picking somewhere up closer than me, closer to town than me? And that's when they said, well, it's really kind of misunderstanding. It's more than just a radius. So they did take lots of things into consideration. But the fact is 50 plus more kids are going to be on the streets. And a lot of these are young. I know that bus probably had 90% of them were primary and elementary age. So everybody in town needs to be aware of that. And we'll do what we can do to change with what you got to do, but
Right.
And I appreciated that it sounds like they might do a training to like help the kids understand at the stoplight, but I'm more concerned about the cars who are turning left and not paying attention because I've almost been hit. We had one person be hit, and so, you know, they can understand fully, but being aware of those other cars is such a concern for me. And I don't know if we can maybe find some retired volunteers that would be willing to kind of be available, but yeah, it's a concern.
the school did agree to have a staff member of some kind up there, not
Okay.
to stop any traffic, but to give guidance to the kids. But
Every day?
that's what they said.
That's what they said.
Well, if they cross at my house, which is at Highland and State Road 9, which is Highland and Orange, the street is so wide there and people speed so bad there. Plus it's a hill. You know, it is, I've almost been hit there because of the vision distance. You know, and I'm an adult. So that's a very dangerous intersection for kids to cross right there.
It absolutely is, but taking that path, taking away that path gives them about 6 other streets they have to cross that are just as bad visually.
Right, but
Yeah,
to
there's
send,
no good-
those kids aren't gonna walk down to the stoplight when they can cross right there at my house to go to the school. Are you with
Well,
me?
that's what they're going to encourage everyone to.
Well, I know, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure the kids will listen and do that.
We will see the older kids crossing where you're talking
Yeah.
about. Hopefully, we will get the younger kids that semi-new down to where they can have assistance with timing, because the stoplight will stop the traffic. And they also will have assistance to a clear shot to Jason down on State Road 8, so they have a target to walk towards. So there is some advantages. I have 2 concerns that I've expressed to the state. They have been up, NDOT's been up. They've assigned an engineer. One of the concerns is the crossing signs, which are the pedestrians, the 2 kids walking, pointing to the ground, are currently at Jefferson, the intersection of Jefferson. And they've either recently been put there or they've been there a long time and I haven't noticed it. But the dedicated crossing has been State Road 8 for the last, or on the stoplight for the last at least 10 years. But those, I just noticed that a few weeks ago, those crossing signs are on Jefferson. So I've requested they move those down the stoplight, which will give us more aid for traffic to know this is where kids are going to be crossing, which will do nothing but help safety, make more safety for the crossing. Also, most of the crossing lines are gone. The crosswalk lines are gone. And I've requested the engineer to put down new crosswalk tape, which is a special glass-filled reflective tape that they have to put down. They were concerned because of the major project. Well, I said, I'm more concerned about the kids than I am waiting for the major project to be done. So we've had that conversation and they said they would do their best to have both of those things fixed by August 13th. So those are 2 areas that I'm still working on yet to try to ensure a safer crossing there at the stoplight. But we still have to get them to the stoplight, like what you were saying. So I did include in my item how those stoplights work. I hope I didn't bore you to death. But it's very interesting because they are no longer automatic at all. They are solely based on the push of that walk button. And remember, there is audio and braille on those push buttons now. So they can actually tell the kids, push to walk in a computer voice. Kids probably all laugh. But they will actually have audio instruction if for some reason there isn't an adult right there. But they will have audio instruction coming out of the box on what to do. So if you haven't experienced that, go up and cross the street. Give it a try.
Don't do it with Chris, though. You might get hit. She's too slow walking across.
Well, luckily I work from home, so I'll try to like help at least for the first part of the,
Yeah, I believe the first day is August 13th for kids. So hopefully everybody will have their feelers out, recognizing there might be a lot more young kids, probably will be a lot more young kids out trying to find their way to school.
I can't imagine that any parent would let their little child cross right there at my house. I really just can't imagine.
And also, there's a huge congestion of cars normally on the first couple of days at the school dropping kids off. So the walkers might be minimum on the first few days, but they all want to see them go into the building, especially the kindergartners. They won't be here. Kindergartners will be at Wolf Lake.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
what they move, second graders will be the youngest here, so, on these streets. So does anybody have any further questions? Thank you, Vicki, for your comment. That does help.
So the kindergarten through first don't get bused from Albion to Wolf Lake anymore?
They will
They're
get
out.
bused from Albion to Wolf Lake, but generally, I see parents walking the kids and watching them get on the bus, or a brother or sister will bring them
Okay.
and drop them off. I think there's 3 buses that run from here to Wolf Lake and back every day. Right?
Probably 2 now.
It might be 2.
Probably it will be
Probably
now.
will be. You're right, because
Because
they,
there's one whole grade level
yeah,
less.
one whole grade level that moved. So yeah, you're probably right, be less busing there too.
Anybody have anything else for Scott?
I would like to take just a minute, if I may, President, that I want to introduce Tyson Zook. He is the guy that I've been writing about that's been going to the academy on my notes. Tyson's been a reserve officer here since 2023. We bumped him to part-time in January of 25, and then we sent him to the academy, whisked him to the academy. And he did successfully complete ILA Basic Class 2025-35 on June 24th. So as of June 27th, he is now Albion 6th, and we're back to a full roster, hallelujah, full-time officer. He's a great addition to the department. He's currently Albion 6 is his badge number, and he works from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I thought I might bring him in so y'all can see him, because that's going to be the only time you'll see him unless it's an emergency, and he'll be there for you. He's a great addition, and I appreciate everything he's done to get on the department. So I wanted to introduce you to Tyson. Anything you want to add?
It'll take me a little bit to get familiar with names and faces, especially working night shift.
Also, just so you know, the class he had to complete successfully was 427 hours of instruction, which means he was on the grounds at the academy for 10 weeks, living at the academy, only coming home on the weekends. He successfully completed 13 written exams, none of them easy. And he also did 3 practical skills that I'm not so sure I'd even want to do anymore, but he successfully completed those too. So he's done a good job for us at this point. I appreciate him.
Thank you, Tyson. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
You're free to stay or free to go. It's up to you. Also, Vicki, one last note. I did check on your parking detail question. I don't mean to occupy a lot of time with the county, and progress is still for the parking decals to be put on the windows for the employees. So it is still in place, and they're working at it. Does that answer that question?
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, anything else?
All right.
All right,
Thank you, Scott.
appreciate you guys.
Town manager report.
Thank you, Vicki. The main thing I think that I'll give you a little bit of an update on this report has been in your hands for a while. It's a standard, almost same old type of stuff. Always give you a little bit of a view as to what's around the corner, so that's in there. But we did have an interesting and a productive meeting with Frontier, and I did a summary of that meeting. A hard copy. Vicki, yours was in your box. Did everybody have that in front of you? If that helps you. Yeah. And I'll briefly go through it. Lori, you may want to have this just for your interest in the downtown and what have you. And if anybody wants a copy, you could certainly ask me and I can send it to you. I'm sorry I didn't make too many more copies than that. We met with Frontier. They're doing a fiber optic upgrade project throughout the town, beginning, it could be tomorrow, but they don't have their permit in yet. But once they get that in, things will be approved and they'll start. But we're looking at 3 months, August, September, October. We found the type of permit that applies. It's called a right-of-way activity permit, same form as the one we use for the building improvements, known as improvement location permit. So we found a way to do it. There's a $1,500 fee attached, and I'll have them submit a security bond as well. What's a little unique, 25% of the project, I should say only 25% is underground. Most of it, 75%, is overhead. And that makes it, I think, a little easier for the town, frankly. There are notorious types of problems associated with these underground boring companies, whom these cable-related companies hire to do the work typically, because they can only see so much from above ground, and they end up inevitably hitting major infrastructure. Now, the interesting thing about this project, and Terry was adamant in bringing up that with gas utilities, they require potholes to be made so that they can have a visual eyes on where our infrastructure or any infrastructure is before they run their line through. And so that was actually, we didn't even have to ask that of them. They're doing that. They will open up every hole before a crossing is made underground. This is going to serve about almost 1,200 of their customers throughout town. The entire town they're doing, and presumably it's to their existing customer base. There's pictures in this packet that I gave you of what the things will look like that we'll see above ground. And the big thing is there's 5 of these fiber distribution hubs. They're like, looks like metal, gray metal. Those are the biggest eyesores. There's only going to be 5 of those, and they'll place those appropriately. The other is the thing that we see all over, but they're called buried terminals, even though they're above ground. Underneath the handhold that they make is a little bit of a well, and they have all their wiring connections there, and it comes up and they have some kind of I don't know if it's a transmitter or what, but it's in a much smaller above ground. It's in a green, looks like a plastic, but it very well could be metal that's been, painted. But it's only about knee high, and there's about 330 of those. So those are the things we're going to see, as you still see around town. You see the taller ones that are the older ones that have copper type of facilities in them. These will be about maybe 2 to 3 per block, they said. I almost think it's on each side of the block is probably what they mean. So nonetheless, those, if it's in a location that a resident is concerned about, they can work with Frontier to negotiate, hey, can you move it over here, move it over there? And Frontier made it sound like they would be very amenable to any concerns of that nature. It would certainly behoove residents, once they see Frontier starting on their block, make that appropriate contact. Frontier will alert each block, each section they start to go into with an entrance type of a sign to the subdivision. There might be a couple of those per block, but they'll supplement it with door hangers to every home. the door hanger will have contact information from Frontier on it. And so there will be a way that residents can easily contact and know who to contact from Frontier. The town is not going to be involved in any negotiations between residents and Frontier as to where these terminals go. So if the resident is concerned, they have to be as proactive as possible and then approach Frontier. Now, we're going to try to get project information on our website with the help of Scott. We haven't really talked that over as to what can we put on there and so forth. The plans are voluminous because they are going to be throughout town, and the hard copy plans are not amenable to scanning and putting on the website. So we may just have to, it might have to be a general blurb that we put on the website saying, hey, your project's coming through, maybe this sheet of information I prepared, and then some contact info from Frontier, and let the residents engage Frontier as the project unfolds. As the project unfolds, they complete their upgrade and they immediately turn it on. That's what they told us. They're not waiting for the whole town to be done and at the end of 3 months, flip the switch. The switch will be flipped every day, whenever they make significant milestones, they turn it on so that the residents whom they've just upgraded will enjoy that upgrade. And then landscape restoration is done as well incrementally as the project goes forward. And that's the long and the short of it. If there's any questions on this or other stuff in my report, I'd be happy to try to answer it.
What's with the haircut, Steve?
Oh, wow, Chris, that's quite a question. I don't know where you're getting information, Chris. I didn't get a haircut. Carol, will you please let the record show? I did not get a haircut. I got my hair styled.
I see that.
Like Zane. Oh, they took too much off the top, and Kurt, they promised me it would grow back. If it doesn't, me and you are going to probably have some business together.
I have one question on your town manager goal. You've got a goal of Friday. Do you think you're going to meet that for your first step?
I'm finding for the last 2 months, all of my goal planning is out the window, Vicki. So no, what Vicki's referring to is I was hired with a really express priority, intention, and goal of the council that I be involved very strategically hands-on in reimagining the role of town manager. And so I've taken some strides toward that. I've laid out an ambitious schedule toward that, and I'm easily a month behind, and when all is said and done, it might be longer. However, the end time I noticed with my new calculations and all, we're still going to be where we need to be at the end. We're just going to be tightening up, squeezing some sections that are in between, maybe a little less time for the departments to weigh in and things like that. But it will get done. It will get done in the end in a manner that will be comfortable for allowing the council to have enough time to massage what you need to do, as well as once it's put into the attorney's hands for Kurt to be able to schedule his needs and still meet our. I think we're looking at ultimately a February 1 type of a date, yeah, for the adoption of everything that might be necessary. And it's not beyond me to pull an all-nighter sometime to crank out, ramp up the process. So,
Anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you, Steve.
thank you.
We're going to move on to old business. Having none, new business. First item on the agenda, Melanie Kellogg of B Noble is going to update us on the county EDC.
Yes, thank you. So as you all know, I'm Melanie Kellogg from B Noble, which is Noble County's lead economic development organization. And we are focusing really on serving as a connector, advocate, problem solver, and a partner with all of our communities to make sure that Noble County is growing and succeeding. So I just want to give a quick overview of what we really focused on last year, the impact of our work, and then our strategic goals for this upcoming year. So in 2024, Noble County saw more than $107 million invested by local businesses via estate and equipment, which is proof that our companies are staying here in Noble County and they believe that what we're promoting out there. Housing has grown as well. Albion specifically this year has already had 13 new housing permits issued. And then last year there were 7 total new homes. So this is a great momentum of what we've really been working on. So we've partnered closely with the Housing Resource Hub and Club 720 to really work on bringing housing into Noble County and for them to continue to grow. One of our proudest investments this year was that we had $100,000 from our investment trust fund that went to help launch Noble Early Learning, which is the county's second licensed child care center, serving children from 6 weeks to 5 years old, which is going to be great for our workforce. We are also working with Central Noble for the same type of child care center to go in there with grant from the Investment Trust Fund and Ready 2.0. We opened up our first co-working space over in Kendallville. One of our main goals is to really focus on growing the entrepreneurs, the freelancers, and our remote workers. Noble County is very unique because we are lucky that we have companies like Frontier and LigTel investing in our communities. Last year, LigTel expanded fiber to over 2,600 brand new customers and laid nearly 202 miles of fiber throughout the county. And they're still going. So that's a resource that we have to bring that fast, reliable internet here. So if the people are moving, aren't necessarily working in our factories, at least they're still coming into Noble County, supporting our small businesses and helping us grow. We've really focused on the STEM initiative within all of the schools. So we have partnered with every school district in Noble County to have a career fair as part of the new pathways that the schools have to do for the graduating seniors. And we hosted 3 very effective career fairs. Some of them potentially were able to hire graduating seniors into their organizations right away. Because last year the pathway was announced relatively late, so we had the career fairs in April and May. So it kind of worked out great for our seniors. We've really focused on STEM programs through the 4-H and really working on including our robotics and engineering camps. We are very blessed that we received a grant from Bosch to continue working with the schools for STEM camps and programs, not just the schools, but any organization for that. So we really want to connect our students in Noble County to the careers that are going to help them grow. We also did a workplace preparedness grant in partnership with the Community Foundation, and that was over $5,000 worth of monies out into the community for new entrepreneurs or people starting out the workforce. So there were, for example, we funded somebody to get new steel-toed boots. There was a couple of hair places where you can get your hair restyled that they needed all that equipment. So it was a simple grant process and no worries for them. Just, hey, you tell us you need this, here you go. We're really working on bridging our partnerships. So we've been working closely with the Northeast Indiana Innovation Center, or NIC, bringing small business coaching and resources to Noble County. So our liaison comes to the Fox Den on the 3rd Thursday of the month and offers free resources to everybody. And then she goes to the co-working space in Kendallville on the 4th Thursday. This is to help you if you have questions about a business plan, you want to find a loan for your business, succession planning, everything in between. It's free for the residents. And it's really, we're starting to see an impact on that, especially since she's at the Fox Den. If nobody plans a meeting, then she's out in the front part talking to everybody as they're coming through. So our big 3 priorities is strengthen our business retention and expansion program. So we're really focusing on reaching out to our local companies through outreach, story sharing, resources, keeping Noble County in the place where they want to be, building that infrastructure for the growth. So we are working on identifying new projects and unlocking those opportunities and continuing to work with the Housing Resource Hub to grow not only Albion's housing stock, but Noble County's as well. They just released a new program 2 weeks ago. To be honest, I haven't had time to fully delve through what all they're doing, but it's going to be another step on what we've done in the past. And then really focusing on partnering with our schools. As part of the new curriculum for the students, they have to have internships, a lot of hands-on working. So connecting them with the manufacturers across the town, across the county, to make sure that they're falling in love with what they're doing and they kind of are future ready, is really important to us. And so we are looking for an intern for the next school year. So if you know of anybody, we prefer it to be a high school senior or junior, so that they can learn early on kind of what Noble County is all about. And they get to go through and, if we're doing our BR&E visits, going and visiting all these different companies, seeing how it's made, learning all the great things about Noble County. So if you know of anybody who's interested, please let me know. We've only received 1 resume so far. And it does pay, which is nice. And then I did want to share.
Do you have that on social media, Melanie?
We did, and we just put it in our last newsletter.
Okay.
But I did want to share, I received an email from Kim Temple, who is the Vice President of Northeast Indiana Works. And there's a report that came out titled "The Out of Reach 2024 Indiana Housing Affordability Still in Crisis." And that report highlights that the growing gap between the wages and housing costs in Indiana. For example, a Hoosier would need to earn around $22.18 an hour to be able to afford a modest 2-bedroom rental, but the average state worker wage is $18.05 an hour. So there is quite a big gap in there. So we're going to be focusing on how we can rally for wages to grow as well. That's all I have in a nutshell.
Erin, you represent us on that board. Do you have anything you want to add? No? Well, thank you for your service. Do you have any questions for Erin or Melanie?
I had a question, Melanie, on, you mentioned that you were working with Central Noble. Where are they at in that process? I know you'd given maybe a slight update as you left one other meeting, but you mentioned the Ready 2.0. Is that even feasible? Because I heard that those funds weren't going to be available.
So Ready 2 at one point was frozen, unbeknownst to all of us. Then we just get a random email saying that the funds are now unfrozen. They have started allocating funds out, but they're changing how it's working. And I think that's kind of Ready 2.0 in a nutshell. So we still have money in Ready 1, but there's a deadline for projects to be completed. I believe it's September of next year. Don't quote me on that. I could be mistaken. So what they're doing is they're taking some Ready 2 applications and putting them into Ready 1 and vice versa to show that we can use those funds. We are still working on their ready application. I have an email out to the partnership talking about different funding options. They are, from my understanding, trying to make sure that the project is solely funded from grants and things of that nature. So I want to do everything on our end to make sure that it happens, because as we all know, childcare is very limited but very much needed in our community in order for us to continue to grow.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to stay, or you may go on about your evening.
I might get dinner here in a minute.
She
Item
said
number-
she was getting us pizza too.
Item number 2 is the special event application for the STAR team, their fall celebration on September 20th. Lori.
Yes. What she said, right? I submitted the application, so I guess I would just entertain any questions if department heads have had a chance to look at and have any questions. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Hopefully we can avoid calling Kevin out Saturday morning to bring the barrels. That was very kind of him last year. I did make note, just for the record, that we will not have cornhole this year. We will not have any alcohol. I'm not sure how we're gonna fill that gap yet. I'm still, you know how hard it is to get volunteers to come with the ideas. I think we're talking about maybe a chalk walk. So TBD, but if we close all 3 streets, we'll keep working on having entertainment for all ages, so.
Anybody have any questions? Did all the department heads sign off on that?
They know about it,
Okay.
but, I'm a little, late in getting a couple signatures.
Okay.
For this, was-
I guess, Scott, since you're here, do you see any conflicts with having access to the booth for the PA and music?
That should be fine.
That's very good.
Okay.
I do have one other item. I'll wait till you're done with this, but I have one other, just FYI.
It might be the same one I have.
It might be.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion if there's no questions.
I move we approve the special event application for the fall celebration on, September 20th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. The flower barrels.
Yes.
There was a announcement yesterday that they're selling,
That was mine.
yeah, I reached out to Jason and they are still going to continue the landscape business at a new location. And so we will be still,
Still got it from
Yep.
him. Okay, yep.
none of that will change.
Everything else is, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome.
I don't know if anybody has questions about the mural or gazebo projects where the murals come down. I'm assuming most of you have maybe noticed the big green gap on the building. I don't yet have plans for replacement. I do have images, so we do have high quality digital images to potentially reproduce that mural as it was or in a collage form. So all of that's TBD. And part of the reason I don't have any more information is I have not had a chance to catch up with Gatman's about the bids they're building, so we have to collaborate with them on what goes back up there. If you haven't seen it, there is a request for proposals for bids for the gazebo work that's been out on social media. I don't know if I put it in the paper or not. I've had several things go in there. So if you know any contractors.
It's in today's article.
We've got scope of work.
It's in today's article.
Is it?
Yeah, about the gazebo and the building.
I thought I included that in the press release. So anyway, those 2 projects are moving. Is there anything else that was outstanding in the minds of the council?
Did you end up putting the mural pieces in our building for storage?
Yes.
Okay.
They're on the
Yes.
Okay.
storage. There'll probably come a point where we will offer them back to Darlene if she has any use for them or just arrange getting them disposed of. But I didn't want to do that until we knew we had imagery to work with in case we needed to go back to those. So we'll keep moving on it.
Thank you very much, Lori.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 3 is, excuse me, the Terra Supreme Battery request for the town to pay for the sewer line. Austin, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I'm the vice president at Terrace Free Battery. We're located on the corner of State Road 8 and 150. Sure, as most of you can tell, there's been a significant amount of changes to the facility as we're coming up on production soon, so which should be in August here. We've had to make significant improvements to our wastewater system and our drainage. And part of that required a new line that's on the easement of 150 to the new gravity drainage for the sewer system. What we're asking for is for some consideration for the town to assist with that portion of the sewage line. We had already paid for the portion from our facility out to a new 48-inch manhole, and then it's just from that manhole to the gravity drain system.
That was because, Austin, it was not at the correct elevation, correct?
That's correct, yeah. The current system would not have been at the proper elevation for the gravity system. And with our permit, I mean, we're permitted for 6,000 gallons of water a day. We'll probably start out with about 4,000 to 5,000 gallons of water a day that we'll consume from the town. So there's a significant amount of water out of our system that comes back through processing.
So you are currently a metered water user?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody from the town want to speak on behalf of the big project we did out there?
I'll talk a little bit about it. This started March, I believe, of last year. And they've been working on rerouting. They have existing manholes there, but like he says, the elevation wasn't correct. Meanwhile, we wanted to make a gravity sewer, so we did our due diligence. We went and we contacted all the property owners, got our easements, and we put that 8-inch gravity sewer in. And right now, north of the existing manhole he's talking about, the 48-inch, we have no easement there.
On private property.
It's on private property.
So you're talking about the $169,000+ project that we did.
Yeah, that was, we contacted all the property owners, and Nick was one of them. He signed off middle of August of last year. And he knew exactly where we needed an easement. And it was south of the existing structure and I guess the center of State Road 8.
How many people hooked into this $169,000 gravity sewer?
At this time, one.
That $169,000 sewer was a replacement of the lift stations already.
Okay, so you took the lift station out and made it gravity fed.
Yeah, it's gravity.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear.
Was that something that needed done anyway, or was it done
For
because of
future
the?
use.
Okay.
Well, plus we also got rid of the lift station, which was a money sucker or a money.
It was in need of maintenance anyway.
It was put in 1984.
Right,
So it served many purposes.
right. Lift stations use electricity and have maintenance issues.
But I would clarify that their sewer line they put in was put into that lift station before it was removed. So it's not like we changed anything on our end, gravity or elevation wise, to require them to put a different line.
So this $23,000 project was done before we even did our lift station project. This might be a silly question, but so then that happened over a year ago.
Yeah, it started back in March when we started construction on it, when the battery plant was ramping up. I'm mainly here to just answer any construction questions. If you guys have any install, that's really not it on my end. So,
And if we did want to get an easement to put a gravity sewer in, we would have used bigger pipes, bigger manholes, because it really be hard to get our equipment into a 30 inch.
48.
It is 48.
It's a, he said 30, but it's a 48
Yeah.
inch manhole.
That's the way it was quoted, but they ended up doing a 46. The 48, sorry.
The one at the, at 150 is 48, the one at by your building is 30.
Yeah, that's the sample 30.
Yeah, your sample's at 30, so from there, Terry, to the, to 150 is what they're requesting. That's from 48 to the south. I think what Austin meant by easement was more right of way. And I don't know if that'd be city right of way or county, 150 right there. I'm not sure where that city/county line.
Well, if you look at Beacon, it's the county residents own to the center of the road, give or take a point.
Right. I think he was regarding if, whether it be the town or the county ever wanted to, if anything was developed, north of the battery plant, if they ever decided they wanted to utilize that 6-inch gravity line, then it would have been something the town has already, paid for and has access to, rather than it being a private line that has no access. I think that's what Austin was referring to.
So in the planning of this project, did anyone from the town ever give any inclination that it might be
Absolutely.
at our expense?
The question was asked and answered a long time ago, but we thought we would get further information.
Give it a try.
Yeah, just to see if there was any type of assistance we could get from the town. We made a significant investment in trying to, bring more jobs to the community, hire local.
And I think I can speak for all of us in that we absolutely appreciate that. We're in a position where we can't set a precedence for something we can't do to other people. So the rest of you can weigh in a little bit on your thoughts.
Normally when someone asks us for assistance, it's prior to any project happening.
Would agree.
And the letter dated 6/24/24 from our prior town manager specifically asks for annexation. The project would provide access to sewer services to your property if you were ever interested in annexing all or part of your property into the town or pursue an arrangement with the town for another access agreement. That whole precedent thing, I don't know what to say.
Kayla, is this Kayla? Was she with us? Kayla? Yeah.
I don't even know what fund you would take that out of.
Austin, is that Kayla?
I wasn't aware of this.
There's no last name. I just wondered if she had anything to say. Maybe she can't hear me very well with somebody else. Chris, do you want to ask?
Ask Kayla.
I'm assuming it's Kayla. I can't think. What's her last name now?
Martin.
Hey, Kayla Martin. Unmute your mic.
Maybe it's not her. I don't know.
She might have it on, but she might be tending to it.
I didn't know, I don't
Okay.
believe she.
I thought maybe she had something to add, but maybe that's not even who it is.
If I could ask a question, Austin, you mentioned production ramping up in August. Does that mean, is that the start of sale of your product, or are you already selling your
Yes,
product?
August will be the start of our sales.
I see.
So we'll be hiring another 30 employees probably. It will be August and September.
Carol, to your recollection, have we ever helped anybody do anything like that?
Not to my recollection, and I would think that if we were going to be involved in something like that, it would have to be all done beforehand. It would have to go through an appropriate process according to Indiana codes that we have to follow for projects like that. And I honestly, I don't know why we would want to pay for something on, like this, on private property, and we had already invested $170,000 to assist with removing that lift station and getting a gravity bed system.
Do you have anything to weigh in?
I've shared my comments in my email.
Okay.
So I don't disagree with that. It's very unusual. If you're going to acquire it, then it needs to be done properly. You need to have bill of sale, the legal description, there needs to be an easement because you don't want to acquire a private line which you have no easement over to maintain. So if you're going to do it, there's a lot more devil in the details to make sure you have an easement. Because the easement that they're referencing, the right of way, curiously enough, as they've already pointed out, is along State Road 8. It just gets to the connection to yours. It doesn't take it north. And I think they acknowledge that. And to my knowledge, there is no right of way along 150 going north, other than that 50 foot that goes from the intersection. So you'd have to have a proper easement drafted. You'd have to have a bill of sale transferring the pipe. You'd have to have a description of all of that. And yeah, then you could do it, but it takes some effort.
Carol, Abby, do you have anything to add?
Just for my curiosity, is this parcel in the town, the incorporated town of Howland? Oh, so now we've extended sewer service to someone outside of town? Wow. Okay, that's also very unusual. We normally not do that without a waiver of remonstrance. Apparently we don't have.
There's been a lift station out there since what, Terry, 1990?
84.
84. Which I wasn't even around then.
Prior to that, they had a septic system, and IDEM said they couldn't do that anymore. And then I think in 1991, they got the audit.
But why did we have a lift station out there if it's not in the town limit?
Isn't that what's in the lake?
No. It was just for all them water.
It was before any of our time.
Yeah, just for the record, the normal approach is to never extend utilities to someone outside of town without them signing a waiver of remonstrance so that you can annex. Whether you choose to do it or not is up to you, but you lose all your leverage when you extend utilities without getting that waiver. It needs to be recorded.
Our current ordinance, Kurt, as I understand it, is that we're not to extend utilities without that annexation occurring.
Hence the letter.
I never saw the letter, so.
Well, it was
I heard
attached,
you.
it's attached to Carol's email. It's attached to the email that Carol said, I believe.
Was that today, this morning, this afternoon? I didn't see it.
Was that on Carol's?
I don't know what letter you're referring to.
It was.
The response, I think that was just today.
I mean, I have the easement agreement that was, by the way, never recorded to my knowledge. It has all kinds of
Are you talking about the easement?
Yeah, it's that one.
Easement for our, was for the, our State Road 8 150 project that we just completed.
Just for Nick Bush, it's right here for this one.
Yeah, that's
Just a
it.
small portion.
It was in the easement agreement. That was the letter. It was in your email. From today before 12, right before 12.
Oh, that's why.
That just was.
You were copied, Kurt.
Yeah, I'm sure I've got it. I just, like I said, I was,
Busy.
yep.
Okay.
I put copies up there, but I only copied.
That's all right. It's okay. It's all right. I don't need,
from Jacob,
I mean,
was
I'll-
that sent today too?
Yeah, this stuff.
I can't find
I'm
it.
scrolling through.
It says, "Good morning, everyone."
Two readings.
You gotta keep going.
yeah, I have this.
It-
But
Keep
she's
going,
saying-
it's on down.
It's in that same email? I'm not finding
Yeah,
it. I read
Jacob,
it.
it's on town letterhead.
Yeah, I
dated June
read that
24th.
earlier, but I can't find it
So it's
to.
done.
It's right before the easement plat.
It's page 6.
Yes.
I'm sorry, page 7.
7.
It's page 7.
Probably in June of 24.
So
If
if there are no other questions, I would entertain a motion or,
I think we got a bunch of stuff we have to do first before we can even entertain a motion to move forward with this. Is that correct?
Whose job was it to record this easement?
I mean, ultimately, the town's, because it's in your benefit to record it. So,
Yeah, those were recorded in November of last year.
okay, I don't have one, so I'm just going based on what people have given me.
What I had made a copy of was what I made copies before I took them to the courthouse, so I didn't make copies of the.
That's okay. I didn't know. I don't have a copy.
But that is separate from what we're talking about.
Right, except it does cover the 50-foot north of the intersection, which interestingly enough, you wouldn't have needed because State Road 8 has a 36-foot public right-of-way that you could have used without that, so I don't know why it was secured.
I believe it was a working.
The working where it was past that. But the line in question is long 150.
I understand that, and there's no easement to my knowledge. I'm just looking at this map that they gave me. And that's that 50-foot.
So legally, we can't,
You can do this.
but we have to do the work before we do it.
There should be some things that you should consider doing, like I said. If it were me, if you're going to take over a private line outside the town of Albion, which seems really illogical to me, but if you're gonna do it, there needs to be a description of the line and an easement over which so that you can access it. All the way to the point where you're gonna receive it. I'm assuming you're not taking it into the building, you just terminate at the connection point. So,
To make an easement on a county road.
well, they would give you the easement, the company that owns the dirt, because it would be a private easement. Because it's not, it is not in the town, and it's not a publicly dedicated easement. So, yeah, they'd have to give you an easement from the point at where it's connected down by State Road 8, north to the point that you're apparently paying for. Which it looks like it's,
So we'd have to do that work before we could.
before you could formally accept it, yeah, I mean, you could approve the concept and direct that work be done, if you want to do it.
They wouldn't own their private lines, though. They actually got a 24-inch storm that runs down that same side of the railroad tracks.
Yeah, I don't know what,
They already put that in years ago.
well, if you're gonna pay for and purchase a line, whether it's a stormwater line or a sewer line or a water line, you need an easement.
And there'd be other utilities that wouldn't be ours.
And why you would purchase a private line outside of town that is not, So that's a political issue. I wouldn't recommend you do it if you're asking me. Without them being annexed.
Look, there's no way we can do this, okay? I mean, I'm sorry, but no precedent. It's not in the town. It meets no IC code. It wasn't pre-planned. There, as much as we love Bushy and we love everything that Bushy does for the town, I see no feasible way to make this work. Unless you guys think of a feasible way to make this work.
I agree. We're more than appreciative and grateful for what they bring to the community. Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. But I just, there's just so many reasons why I just don't think that we can do it. Any other comments?
I mean, I don't want to be the heavy, but somebody's got to be.
So will it die for lack of a motion, or do we need a motion that's denying?
I would say you need a motion to deny it or accept it. And if you are going to accept it, it would be done with the condition that you get an easement and you get description of the pipe and you get all the things that are necessary to go along.
Yeah, annexation and blah, blah, blah.
Whatever conditions you want to place on it.
Now, would Nicolin be annexed into the
Negative.
Why is that? I don't understand. I'm a country boy, so.
Okay.
So explain that to me.
Okay, so that would be like you as a private person asking the town to pay for something with other people's tax dollars. Okay? Because what we do here on the town council is we spend other people's tax dollars, including our own. So there are codes that we have to follow that we have to abide by. So.
But he's asking specifically about annexation.
I'm just, why
Oh.
would you answer that, Nick?
Right,
Yeah,
so
because
we don't, this property is not in the town limits, okay?
Short answer, Nathan, is it's higher tax percentages in the town.
Oh, yeah, annexation would create higher tax for that property, much higher.
But you have the opportunity to abate some of that tax from an annexation if there is willingness to annex. There, you can enter into negotiating agreements that defer and delay the application of that tax. And if in the end you're serving this factory with your town utilities, it would seem to be in the long-term best interest of everyone that they be part of the town, and that can be negotiated. But you're all right. In the end, tax rate's higher.
So, not to go backwards some, but she had mentioned that, taxpayer money can't be spent on privately, stuff. It wasn't at the meeting, it was several years ago, I think. There was a gentleman that did ask for money for sewer line help on a housing addition in town that I think was offered or given out of White Oaks with taxpayer money.
I think that gentleman put all that in out of his own pocket.
Right, but here's the deal. That's in town, okay? Annexed property. But here's the deal. Had this, number one, this lift station that's out here serving Albion Wire should have never been put there back in 84, serving Albion Wire, which is before any of our time.
we're not like,
Right,
I've heard
right.
Nick say several times, like, town of Albany, he's nothing but thank them for doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
This wasn't I was just more or less, when you said your answer. to-
Right, infrastructure,
Private Taxpayer money not being spent on private projects.
Right.
But I feel like that has happened, so I was just.
no, not private, infrastructure in town benefits the town.
There was a whole problem, yeah, there was a whole cut inside of a manhole in there.
8-inch hole.
They refused to fix
No, I remember, we went and fixed it. I do remember. when all this-
Stone never ran
it. We had to fix it no matter what.
But I feel like that was again, like, you mentioned this was an after thing, we put it in, they asked for money. That hole you're talking about, that was gonna be a problem, was an after the fact of the money being approved, they spent on that.
Under the current conditions, we legally cannot accept the line as it sits today. Without
Owning the property,
or having legal easement.
legal easement,
So technically, if you were to ask us if we could do this tonight and pay the sum that you're asking, legally we can.
Wholeheartedly agree that, and as someone that pays taxes in town, I would appreciate that answer. Nothing against Nick, I love the guy, he's been great to us. I think that's what you should say. But it should, at least, have been considered, in my opinion. So my question was just more or less a snowball question off of what she had said about things, I think.
Well, I think maybe there's been things that have been done to help develop the town, but this was years ago.
And it's in the town. I get it.
It's in the town, and it's in the town.
I was unaware that wasn't in the city limits until 2 weeks ago. When I looked on the map, and I said, this damn thing's not even in the city limits. It's like, what in the world? I didn't even realize that. I assumed that is just where the city limit was at. I guess I just assumed that.
So unfortunately.
You had your answer, and I wish we could help, but we can't.
Well, thank you for your consideration. I appreciate it. We appreciate
And
it.
we are glad to hear that you're close to your date. So, thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you.
I think if we could, we would.
I get it. I understand. But thank you.
All right. We will move on to
And you don't have to stay
an
either.
update on the municipal building roof
So we
project.
need to make Kurt, you said we need.
I mean, you should, to get it on the record, a motion
Oh, I'm
to deny.
sorry.
You
Yes,
should.
I'm
It's
sorry,
okay.
yeah.
I was just waiting.
Okay,
So
we're gonna make this official. Tell us who wants to be the one.
I'll make a motion to deny based on, it's not legally possible for the town to do it at this time.
Second,
We have a motion, a second. Any other comments? All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I do too. Sadie, do you want to go ahead and get started, or you want to?
We might as well wait.
are we taking a break?
I already did. I couldn't hold it anymore. I still haven't got that pizza yet.
Yeah. Everybody tells me you have a great pizza place.
You do, you do have.
I hear that a
So
lot.
Steve told me to ask him. Steve told me to ask him about his haircut.
Oh, I didn't know he had a haircut. I didn't know he had any.
Was that like how comic will like place people in the audience?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're the.
Right.
What are they
Were
called?
we all just set up?
Plan, I felt like it.
Told me to ask him about his haircut.
And then
Well, you did.
You were left hanging.
I didn't do nothing.
Shoot.
I feel that it was at my expense if it makes you feel any better.
I didn't even know it was got a haircut.
He should be so lucky to have hair like you. Yeah,
Hey, Kurt, what's your interpretation on these meetings that you adjourn?
I'm sorry.
What's your interpretation on these meetings if there is an adjourn, or not an adjournment, but a recess?
Well,
Do we kill the recording according to,
I wouldn't.
just let it
I
run?
think
Let it
you're
run,
supposed
yeah.
I figured we'd let it run because that's what we're supposed to do in law enforcement.
I think so. I mean, formally, if she would have said a motion to recess and reconvene in 10 minutes, then you could, but I think it's just worthy to let it run. Technically, there's no quorum at the moment, so.
Technically. All right, thank you.
Yeah, good question, though. Yeah, that whole new live streaming thing is, and since we have time, you probably know that any meeting that's in this room, whether it's a committee meeting or of appointed officials or elected officials, also has to be live streamed. If it's not in this room, they don't have to. It's this room that taints the meeting.
Committees excluded.
Committees, if they're in here, have to be live streamed. Yeah. If they're not in here, they don't have to be. So that's something to keep in mind.
Is that what I didn't read that part in.
That's okay.
Is that something that your firm?
Yep.
Interprets it as, or does that specifically say?
No, I think I could get you language if you wanted to see it.
That's okay. I mean, I'm
No,
not
I think
saying
I
I don't
could.
believe you, but I did not interpret it like that. I just thought it was.
Yeah, it's the room that creates the.
I understand the room.
Okay.
It creates the ambiance, but I also thought it legislative and.
You can have committee
Legislative and
meetings
what's the other?
and pizza depot.
No, you still have to have committee meetings in a public setting. I'm just saying, if you have them in the room where all the technology's at, they have to be live streamed.
Legislative body and.
Officially appointed committees are subject to the open door law too.
Okay, well, I was
I
thinking
can
of.
see open door law,
Right.
but this live stream.
If they're in this room, then they do. If they're not, then they don't have to. Meaning, they still have to be in a publicly accessible place.
Sure.
But if they're not in this physical room where the technology is, you're not obligated to go create it everywhere they go, is my point. So if they have it at the park, I don't know, do they have park board meetings out
Yeah,
there?
they have the park board.
They don't have to have theirs live streamed because they're not in here.
But they're equipped for live streaming
Well,
there,
Then that changes things.
but.
You don't have to equip another department ever. You
So our
can
public
have
works
one
meetings have to
designated
be
area.
live streamed.
So
Our public work committees have to be live
if
streamed.
you're in this meeting, yes.
There's another room in the building, so.
There you go.
There's a vacant building.
Thanks for asking, Scott.
I know.
There's a lot of questions out there, and this is the only time I get him for council money. When you start talking about the criminal cases, yeah, no.
We are going to move on to an update on the municipal building roof project. Zane, would you take it over?
Everybody's
Take it
favorite
from
topic. Okay. All right, what we need to do, we've talked endlessly about this roof project. We've decided to step away from the 40-year, $1.3+ million roof. Last direction that we had was to look at a 20-year roof and get quotes. But I think we need to understand something. This isn't a get quotes and then see what prices come in at. This is a get quotes we're putting on a 20-year roof, okay? So that's the first thing we need to wrap our heads around.
In fairness to the contractors.
In fairness to the contractors, because if we keep going out requesting quotes, contractors are going to stop showing up to give us quotes, right? So we first and foremost need to agree that we are vectoring in that direction, into a 20-year roof direction. That's the first.
I think that's the direction we decided because of the concern.
Correct. But the way that it was framed was, let's get the prices and see. And I don't think that, I just want to be adamantly clear here, that this is not we're not going to Max Platts now to get a price quote on an Explorer when we already got
the price quote for a Navigator from Burnmore Solers or something. So this is we're agreeing that we're gonna be looking at putting on a 20-year roof on this building. That's what we're doing, just so long as we're all on the same sheet of music going forward from that point. I wanted that to be a starting point.
I agree.
Now,
And
I
the
do
roof's
have a
gonna
comment.
get done one way or the other.
The roof needs done. I know money is an issue, but one of my biggest challenges in serving on this board is not to point fingers at anyone, because I've had family that's sat in these seats. There are big decisions to make, and cleaning up decisions that were made 20 and 30 years ago are so heart-wrenching and overwhelming and drama. And is a 20-year roof going to keep the people in 20 years from doing the same thing all over again? Because that's a short period of time relatively.
20 years. of new
You've
roof's
already
gonna-
served 20.
In
And
20 years, a new roof's gonna cost you $1.3 million, I guarantee it.
I'm just saying, I don't want to hear people in 20 years saying, my gosh, you left us with a mess. Maybe you can't avoid that, but you probably all agree that's part of the most difficult thing about serving this. And we have no one that comes and beats on the doors for these jobs. Chris is back. You're back, because nobody else wants them. So I don't know, is 20 years going to do it?
We had an estimate on a 40-year
I
roof
know.
when Austin Pappenbrook came in here at 1.6 million. Our bids came in at 1.3. And I don't know why everybody's balking about that, but okay. He came in here with samples of 20, 30, and 40-year roofs. You all decided on a 40-year roof. That's what you wanted. That's the route we took. Now, months and months later, hours and hours later, we are back to square zero. We've spent hours and hours and hours on this roof. As far as I'm concerned, we can forget about the roof. Period.
Okay, so let's move on. So if we're in agreement that we're going to be doing this and going forward with a 20-year roof, I think we need to readjust for everyone in the room what the expectations on the cost is. All right, so let's throw out the guy who looked at the 110, or excuse me, the old town hall building and what his price quote was at $400,000. Let's throw out what Leatherman's talked about at $332,000. Those are unrealistic quotes, okay, for what we need done. And by that, I mean there's other stuff that needs done, not just the membrane that's going on this roof. We need edge metal redone. We need gutters redone. We have drainage issues. We have pooling and puddling on the roof. What type of fasteners are they using? So there's other stuff besides just slapping a new roof on this building that need to be taken into consideration. All right, so spitballing this, what a reasonable expectation is for a 20-year roof is between $600,000 and $800,000. Okay, at $600,000, that's $12.50 per square foot. We're a 48,000 square foot roof. So, and while I'm talking about this price, this isn't something that I want the RDC. I wish Lori was still sitting in here because I'd say it to her. Is if we decide on this and we vector in this direction and we're going to use TIF funding, this isn't going to be something that the RDC is going to balk over. There's certain things that I don't think we can afford to skimp on. I think it has to be a glued membrane. A glued membrane is going to be more expensive than using 2-inch fasteners every so often. If we don't do the edge metal and the edge metal blows off in a wind and then it damages the roof, it voids the warranty. So the warranty is no good. Okay, these are things that we need to take into consideration when we're making this decision. The $1.3 million covered all of this stuff. So, which leads me to my next point. We're going to do a 20-year roof. We need to have reasonable expectations of a budget between $600,000 and $800,000. And then we need to get someone to write the specs for us to the type of roof and have all of this stuff in there and be held accountable. Okay. So this isn't something I want to farm out to VS Engineering, because all VS Engineering is going to do is turn around and farm it out to someone else that does this type of stuff. One name that I have in mind is architectural firm that did the extension on Noble RMC building. They do roofing, they do all of this type of stuff and for it. I think it would be appropriate. I think they would be appropriate in terms of someone to do this engineering work. I believe it's Kelty Tappy. You've probably heard of him, Kurt.
I know him well, yeah.
Matt Kelty lives up on Sylvan Lake. His wife's cleaned my teeth a time or two. She's very good. So I'd say Matt walks the fine line between an architecture and a lawyer. He's pretty good at reading. So if this is the direction that we're going, I think number one, we need to all have a consensus that this is what we're doing and that we will bid this out and we will accept the lowest, most responsive, most reasonable bid. And then also that our budget is between $600,000 and $800,000 and that we have to get a well-written spec for this roof that addresses all of the needs that we have.
So that if we're saying a 20-year roof, that means they're guaranteeing the roof.
It means much like the 40-year roof is considered a 40-year roof because the life expectancy is 40 years. The warranty was 32 years on that.
So the expectancy would be 20 years.
We're showing materials.
But the things you talked about will help that lifespan.
No, that roof can be extended too. That doesn't mean that the roof is done in 20 years. It just means you're going to be putting more additional costs into maintaining that roof.
Okay.
And the engineering could end up,
It's gonna be another cost.
yeah, and. so
And we
it's-
don't know what that is.
Right, but it could be significant. I mean,
There's that potential.
And I'll just add, if you use somebody like Kelton Cappy, typically when we've worked with them, they are paid hourly and they prepare the specs to what you want and then they give us all that so that we can prepare the bid docs, the notices, the contracts. All that goes out in a packet to the bidders.
So all of this said, this was, when we were on the Public Works Committee, and we were looking at it. So when you get a 20-year roof, 45 mil, standard ply, membrane system, and have it glued, the original quote, if you will, I wouldn't even say quote, estimate, was $947,000. To get that roof to take it to a 40-year life expectancy of the roof, you're going to end up paying an additional $5 million to keep that roof going. $5 million.
Yeah, I think we gave you guys all that.
500,000?
No.
We gave you.
$5,188,171. So
$5 million for a 40-year roof?
So if you have that 20-year roof, right?
Yeah.
And the life expectancy is 20 years, then you're going to have to do maintenance or you're going to have to put a new roof on. And then to get it to that 40-year lifespan, the additional cost would be $5 million. Does that make sense? Did I frame that right?
Do you have that information? Because I might.
I'm just confused because the last number I saw was $1.3 million.
no, he's saying like, then after that 20 years is up.
Oh.
To extend it from the 20 to the 40 because of
Right
the
would be
cost
your
of
upfront
materials
cost.
and inflation and everything.
To get
over
it,
time.
40-year life cycle costs to get it an additional 20 years.
Oh, so if we put a 20-year roof on and you want to get it up to a 40-year spec.
Well, no, not to 40, just make it last 40 years.
Yeah, it would be about $5 million.
Yes, and if you so chose not to take it off and put a new roof on in 20 years. So, that when we were looking on the Public Works Committee and we were looking at those numbers, that was part of the reason that we leaned toward a 40-year roof, because then the cost to get a 40-year roof to 40 years was like an extra $100,000 versus. But, that's neither here nor there. We're looking at a 20-year roof.
Right. I just want to state that I'm opposed to the 20-year roof.
I'm not opposed to the 40.
I'm opposed to the 20.
So you're one of five.
Right, I'm one of five, I'm outvoted.
No, one of five on the Public Works Committee.
Right, but I'm saying that I'm only one of five of the
I
council.
know, but I want to know,
There's also 30-year roofs.
So would you want to spec out a 40-year in the way that we had talked about, or you're just saying go with the original Garland?
What I'm saying is we need to set a budget,
Right.
whatever that number is, because everything is driven off of that, in my opinion.
Because we were all in
spec'd out-
agreement with what we wanted to do, and then
Yep. And
we
then,
got sticker shock, it seems like.
Right, but we told you guys up front that the original estimate was 1.6 and it came in at 1.3. And then I couldn't understand why everybody had sticker shock because it come in $300,000 less. So I was shocked when people had sticker shock.
Carol, we've already been through this.
Right.
You've shown where the money would have to come from if we wanted to move now. Correct? You've already sent those numbers out and shared that stuff with us.
If the RDC does not approve TIF funding, I'm looking at right now where we would have to take it from the different.
If the RDC
funds. If they, yes. And,
I have a question about that, Kurt.
Yeah.
Does the RDC have to approve?
It's gotta be in there, and I sent this email.
You did a while
months
ago, and I've referenced.
It's okay.
So
But I've never
let's say
gotten
all of
anything
those
back.
things, right, but let's say all of those things are in
Then they
place.
can do it. You still have to appropriate it, but you can only appropriate it with their approval.
So TIF funding can only be expensed basically with their approval.
And according to their not fiscal plan and not their annual spending plan, but their capital improvement plan, which I have never seen. And if it's not in there, just so that you're aware, there's a process to go through to do that, and it requires getting the plan commission involved. And so I'm just warning you ahead of time. Since I've never seen those documents, I don't know if it's in the capital improvement plan. You might be in the fiscal plan, it might be in the annual spending plan, but if it's not in that original capital improvement plan, that has to be amended, and you have to go through a hearing process.
What's the repercussions if we don't do that?
The only repercussions are it's misappropriation of funds and you can get rid of that. Okay. Good question. But the answer is absolutely, if you get through, is there a 5-member or 7-member RDC board here? I can't remember. I don't know
I
what
can't remember. It's
whatever it is, you need a majority. It needs to be in the plan.
So let's throw this nuance into the conversation since we're looking at TIF funding for this. We have to have 5 more people approve this.
Or if you have a 5-member board, 3, I don't know what you're.
Yeah,
it's 5 plus 1 non-voting.
so 3. We have to have 3 more people approve this before it's even a go if we're gonna do TIF funding. So that's why if we decide this, I would respectfully ask Steve to go to the next RDC meeting and preemptively tell them what our intentions are. Because I don't want to have another get quotes and then it goes to the RDC on just Steve updating the RDC what was discussed. And then there's sticker shock on their end and it gets derailed again. Because it will be.
There's no question that updating a 20-year roof in 20 years to a 40-year is going to cost this town an arm and a leg way above what we're proposing now with the 1.3 million and some change. There's no question about it. I don't know why, other than our current physical numbers that we're dealing with from tax dollar base. Other than that, there's no reason to go out and get 20-year quotes when we should just move forward with a 40-year roof.
Well, I can tell you one reason is if the RDC doesn't agree.
Yeah, and if they don't agree, then everything that we want to do, you might as well not do it because we don't have the money to do it.
And will they approve the 40 and only spend half of it and then you come up with the other half, or is that already been?
Well, I guess that would be, I have no idea.
Because you still have your $1.3 million bid. It's not been awarded, but it's probably still available, correct? I don't
Right,
know.
we have 60 days.
Okay, so I didn't know where the time.
Yeah, isn't that right, Corey? We had 60 days?
That rings a bell too,
This
yeah,
right.
60.
It was 60 days.
So you are getting close.
We're getting close because it's, this spreadsheet's June 10th.
When's the next RDC? Did they cancel the RDC meeting and
They'll meet
push it to August? Did I see that?
I believe the next one would be the 13th, the day after the council meeting on the 12th.
Yeah, and we don't have anything necessarily on the agenda, so I mean, they could if we need to put something on the agenda.
What date would that be?
August 13.
We need to make a decision.
Because I thought I saw the email.
Unless they give you an extension. I don't know what you did. Of course, I haven't seen it. I didn't want to see it, but whoever gave you the quote, they could extend it, but they'd have to do it right.
Just the winning bid has
Well,
the option of
if
doing
the
that, or
lowest
you have to
bid-
go back to lowest bidder. Yeah.
Yes, you'd have to go to your, whoever the current low bidder is and ask them to extend the time if you think it's worth the effort. Like I said, there's lots of, as you can tell from my conversation, there are certain things that have to go into place. To me, the very first thing is it even in your plan? Because if it's not in your plan, it's going to take more than 60 days to get it amended, if you want to do it right.
Carol, do you know if it's in the plan?
I believe that Stephen made copies of those establishing ordinances. I don't know if you've got them in front of you. That was a few months back. I gave you that binder and you've made copies. I know there's something in there about buildings, so to me, I think that would cover it.
There was something about, I thought if I remember, it's Carol said, buildings, town facilities.
But I've never been provided that information, so I don't know the answer.
Peters Franklin says that the breakdown on the 1.324 million, 20% admin serves all departments, 20% police, 40% street, 10% sewer, 10% water, if TIF funds are not available. Are you hearing me?
Prematurely.
And how much are we asking or wanting from the TIF fund?
I don't even know that subject had been broached.
We need to have a number.
I think we need to figure out what direction we're going with first. And then all the other stuff is pretty easy to figure out, in my opinion. In the Public Works Committee, Chris said she's opposed of it. Corey and I kind of looked at it both ways. That I can see the 1.4 side. If it was my house and I had the money, that's what I would be doing. But I can also see the 20-year side. That let's put a roof on for 20 years. We also want to do other updates through the building. We want other money to be spent elsewhere.
Right, why not just do what Peters Franklin says and do the split between the departments and use the TIF money for the remodeling project? Are you understanding where I'm saying?
But yeah, but the departments have that kind of.
Yeah,
What we're looking at is you want to do a project that's $1.3 million, and we have our budget for this year is a little over $4 million. That 1.3 has not been appropriated. So that, and right now I'm in the budget process, and this is really complicating things because are we doing it this year? Am I going to need to do an additional appropriation? And if so, how much out of what funds? If we're not, and I need to appropriate for next year, how much and out of what funds? I'm at a real quandary here. Because it's, to me, it's really difficult to do a project of that size that you have not appropriated for in the prior year. It's like on a whim. Well, we're gonna do, we're gonna spend 1.3 million, but we really don't know where it's coming from and what the breakdown's gonna be. It's stressful, at least for me, it is very stressful.
Well, I think you can rest assured that this probably isn't going to happen this year. So this is looking into 2026. I would be very, very, I don't see how it would happen this year unless we decided to go with a $1.4 million roof. And we've already got blowback from the RDC on that, at least from what I've heard. I wasn't there. So realistically speaking, I think everything would have to fall into perfect place. And we'd have to say go tonight for it to begin this year before winter takes hold. Corey, did I misspeak there at all?
So then, no matter where it comes from, it needs to be appropriated in the 2026 budget.
Correct.
So right now, the only thing I know to do is appropriate for it coming out of both TIF and these department funds. And then that's really going to make our 2026 proposed budget really look inflated. But then you pick how much and where next year, but at least it would be appropriated.
It's a great idea. That gives them flexibility. Unless they're gonna try to pull off this 1.3 and 40-year deal right now.
But it all comes back to what is our direction? Chris wants a 1.4.
We have healthy cash balances.
And when we were in the Public Works Committee, Chris was a 1.4 40-year roof. Corey and I could see it either way. Everyone else that was in there was more Carol, Steve, Terry, Casey. Scott, I don't think you were in there, were you?
Yeah,
And Scott was in there. So they were all at 20-year. So I think we had a good, polling of department heads, how they felt, clerk treasurer, and 2 council members.
I feel how Daryl feels. I feel in 20 years,
They're gonna be doing it again.
you're gonna be doing it again, and it's gonna, okay, I remodeled the house, 10 years ago, okay? And then I remodeled another house this year, okay? I did half as much for the same amount of money. Are you with me? I did half as much for the same money. Half. This is why when Keith's talking about a $250,000 house and he's doing vinyl windows, siding, laminate countertops, and asphalt shingles, that's because that's what it costs for a $250,000 house. And he is not lying one bit. He is not BSing you one bit.
But at the same time, we don't know what the, tax levies are going to be at that point, what income bases are going to be. I mean, hopefully they're going to increase along with the inflation, and at some point, hopefully construction materials level out back where they're supposed to be. So there are a lot of what ifs in this scenario that, none of us has a crystal ball. So it's really hard to make that decision, but ultimately we all want to be good stewards of the taxpayer money. So with you guys, I can see it both ways, but
it's only gonna go up.
Everything double, triple in the last 3 years. And that's not uncommon because the previous years before that, when we hit COVID, when we came out of COVID, everything went sky high. Housing. Of course, wages didn't follow.
no, they didn't. But usually after a housing spike like that, we see it rebound too. So
Well, another thing too, I've been selling wire for 30 years, okay? 35 years. When I started selling wire, copper was 60 cents a pound. Copper hit a record high on July 15th. of $7.40 a pound. Okay?
I
Right,
should have invested.
right. I should have invested in copper futures.
I want to do the roof.
Right.
There's no question in my mind, I want to do this roof. But I feel like I'm done in 3 years, okay, 2.5 years. I'm not on the council anymore.
Until they drag you back.
I promise you, I will not be on this council in 2.5 years.
And you're very sorry that you are now.
Unless there's substantial incentive. But I don't want to, I don't want to put a future, you're going to be on the future councils maybe. I don't want to put whoever's on this council in 20 years, I don't want to put them in a boat of spending $5 million to upgrade a roof again or whatever. It's going to be a big number in 20 years. I don't want to put them in that position. I really don't. I've dealt before when I was on the council. I dealt with situations where things were decided and pushed a certain direction, and it made it really difficult on the councils that I was on. Not everything, but there were a few items that made it really difficult because of the decision we made. And I'm just trying to think about the future. I'm not even probably going to be around in 20 years. But I don't want to do that to people in the future. I want to do the roof. I don't know if you can justify trying to shortcut things now, keep the price down, when you could have just put a good grade of roof on it that would last 32 years, guaranteed, right?
That was the other thing too, that, you just made me think of, Smoke, is the company too that you have put on the roof. So we want a reputable company. What we don't want is a company that puts this thing on and they go bankrupt in 5 years, because then guess what? That warranty is a
It happens
5-year
all the
warranty.
time.
A 5-year warranty that we just paid $800,000 or $600,000 for.
Is it a possibility for the Public Works Committee to make a presentation to the RDC and get a feel for what they think, and that allows Carol to work with the 26 budget and have a better idea before we make a final decision?
That'd give me about 2 days before my budget workshop. I'm at crunch time.
So if we appropriate, say, 1.5 million for a roof, that'll make adjustment for any increases that potentially come along in 2026. I don't think it would ever be more than that, at 1.5 for 40. Then we appropriate it and we get it done.
We need to have the RDC on board with it.
Well,
That's the other. But in terms of Carol and appropriations, so she's not in crunch time, what's the repercussions of appropriating too much?
The DLGF will cut our budget.
Elsewhere, different places.
Well, with the street, they may have to cut it in order to get 129,000 out of their budget. In addition to the other appropriations.
There goes Rolling River.
Good we'll have a nice roof.
Right, and you can't use TIF funds in Rolling River either. So you'd be looking at matches, if we could get a grant for there, you'd be looking at matches out of street or possibly CCD or something like that, but, I don't see how you could use TIF funds there when it's not in the TIF district.
So Steve, are you gonna go to the RDC and see if they'll support this?
I can, yes, yeah, depending on what your direction is, absolutely, if you feel they need to weigh in.
You were at their last meeting that they discussed this. What,
It wasn't really a full discussion. It was I think you had asked me, if I recall, Vicki, or someone had asked me to update RDC as to the council's intent on spending TIF money on the roof. And in just simply doing that kind of a statement, it just created a groundswell of some comments. That's all it was. But it was, maybe there was 3 of the members that kind of maybe voiced, it was just a murmuring of, oh, that's a lot. It's going to exhaust our fund. These kind of random kind of soft comments. Nobody was up in arms, and then from there, I think I had heard that maybe there was some discussion after that outside the meeting, or who knows where word started to spread a bit that RDC was against it or this or that. But yeah, it wasn't a full-fledged discussion that I remember. It was just kind of some comments that were made, like that that's a lot. It hit sticker shock, and it's going to come out of these TIF funds, and whoa.
Was saying to be on the safe side, and just appropriate the money.
That's what I was asking Carol. If we appropriate $1.5 million and we don't end up using 1.5, we have a cheaper roof. Are we penalized for that?
You're not penalized, but we're not really talking about me appropriating 1.5, aren't we? We're talking about me appropriating 3 million because you're wanting it, because we don't know if we're going to use TIF funds or we don't know if we're going to use all these others. So how this typically works is you usually go to the RDC first and get an idea, or if they're going to fund the project. And then you can.
How much were we going to ask for from TIF funding? Chris already touched on all of the funds if we didn't use TIF. What would be how much would we take from TIF 1 and how much would we take from TIF 2?
I had sent a paper out on that, which we would be overexpended if we used all of it. I mean, if you.
I'm saying a percentage. We want to take a little from all.
There was one scenario that I remember looking at based on the Jeff Peters, thank you, his idea of the percentage of the funds that Chris cited earlier. And it was going to be, it could have been something like 600 from it was either the department operational budgets and then 700 from TIF or vice versa. It was almost split, but it was 600 and 700. But then
from TIF and 600
from the operational, yes. But it wasn't fully vetted in terms of, okay, if we did 600,000 or 700,000 from the departments, what does that mean? What does that look like? The money was there, but what were the ramifications of that in terms of those operational needs? Were they factoring in using that money for other things? So it had never really been a full analysis of the appropriateness of what is the best source and use of funds. Well, we have an idea of the source, but the use from which of these sources, and you've been asking this a little bit. Yeah, you could do half. Would that help the equation? Would that help RDC say yes?
I mean, does the DLGF penalize you if you have too large of a cash balance at the end of the year in a certain fund? Right.
And Carol will do a reducing appropriations ordinance at the end of the year for monies that she doesn't need. Presumably, that's something that's done every year, I would think. But it does affect the budget getting approved, because so that's why the more she can own in on it, the better for all of them. In a perfect world, RDC would say, we'll give you this much, and the rest will come from there, and then you just see what happens. you got in your budget for next year. And you can go just back to the drawing board, so it's really.
Well, that's what I was looking for because I found a spreadsheet for this.
Yeah, I
So
can't
it
find
shows that we did the roof and then all the other things that TIF funds are obligated for. And,
But the thing that's skewed about that, Carol, is those TIF funds are, yes, I guess, obligated, but like, we don't know when, right? And it doesn't show the money that's coming into TIF, it just shows obligations. Is that an accurate way that I'm looking at that?
I showed you a snapshot.
Yep. Yep. But your snapshot in time is also projecting out future dates of disbursements.
Yes, just of what we have committed right now. And that particular one did not show projected revenues. But we also need to remember, there's a lot of changes that have been made, so I don't know exactly how our future revenues are coming in. But
And like also the daycare isn't happening now, so that TIF.
Yeah, no, for sure, they're still working on it.
It's true, I guess.
they were given a deadline of October of next year.
That's why I asked about.
So are we gonna ask the RDC to make some type of a suggested commitment?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Whether it's a percentage, whether it's, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna ask RDC to pay for the whole thing, but.
Zane wants to know what you wanna go, which way you wanna go. 20, 30. Zane wants to know if you wanna do a 20 roof, 30 roof, 40 roof. He wants to know what your budget is.
Gotta figure out what our budget is. If we wanna do 20, cool, let's do 20. Let's get this ball rolling.
Right, this is what Zane wants to know.
So we're at 1.3. Estimate came in at 1.6 for a 40. If I had to speculate, a 30?
No, we're at 1.3 for the 40.
That's what I said. Estimate came in at 1.6, we're at 1.3 for the 40.
Yeah.
So $300,000 difference. Estimate for the 30 came in at 1.4, so figure it around $1 million for a 30-year roof. And then I estimated $600,000 to $800,000 for a 20. So the $600,000 I'd say is probably a low offer at $12.50 per square foot. And maybe it's just that simply to go to the RDC and say, well, or we just say this is the direction we're going. How much are you willing to give us? And then we'll appropriate the rest. We just have to hammer this out and go. And if it doesn't matter if we take another 2 weeks or 3 weeks right now, if you guys want to think about it for another 3 weeks, we're not doing anything.
I don't want to think about it. Okay, here's the deal.
But it does for her. Yeah, it does. She
Right,
said your
I'm
budget
done
must be
spinning
on
my
this
wheels.
budget workshop.
It's actually I meet with the DLGF on the 14th and I need to have these documents ready. I need to have the appropriations entered into
2026.
Gateway and then they'll, like with some of them, if I have to like double appropriate, the funds that are DLGF controlled are subject to being cut. Because they're gonna look at it, they have to look at it as what I'm submitting and what we have revenue to support. They're not gonna look at it as, well, they might do this project, they might not. They're looking at it as if you're gonna use those funds for that.
But they also look at what cash balance you have, right?
Right, but if we're appropriating, like the street budget right now is like 800 and some thousand. And then we're gonna need to appropriate another 530,000 on top of that for their portion of the roof. I don't believe we'll be having enough cash on hand to fund that. So then they would, say you gotta cut that back.
Why wouldn't you propose,
We wouldn't.
just for the heck of it, Zane? Let's just say let's just say if you propose to the RDC, say 750 for 20, and then you said maybe $1 million for the 30, and then the 1.3 for the 4. I don't know. I'm just, and then let them choose. I don't know what they would give you, what they would give us. I don't know.
Carol's still on crunch time in that scenario though too. Unless, Steve,
She needs a number to
Can we
run
have a
with.
special meeting?
We could probably do that if
We don't.
there's a preference to do that. We could call a special meeting at RDC.
48 hours notice. Not counting weekends and holidays.
I would be willing to,
I can go to an RDC meeting and talk, as long as it's not a Thursday night. Or next week.
as long as it's not a Thursday night or next week.
August 13th is a Wednesday.
It has to be,
That's not enough
Carol's
time.
on crunch time it has to be before that.
Did you already cancel the plan commission meeting?
Yeah, that is canceled. Thank you. The plan is canceled for the 6th.
Carol, when's your meeting?
Mine is August 14th, but I've got to have budget forms. I mean, and they all build off of the Form 1, which is what the appropriations are.
You need a number for
I started-
appropriations.
Yes. I started entering, what the department heads have given me already. So things would need to be amended.
Why can't we give her 1.4 and let her put that in the appropriations? And then that would give us time to go to the RDC.
Yeah, but she needs to know if she's entering that in TIF or if she's splitting that up between departments. Are you with me?
Yeah.
She can't be double dipping 1.4 out of TIF and the departments. That's 2.8 million.
Carol, with your
With
time
me?
constraints, what's the best way to get this done for appropriations next year?
It would be very helpful if I knew what the RDC is willing to commit. And I don't think that it wasn't just the money, at least with the one RDC member that I know extremely well. The problem.
Is that Lori?
Building got mentioned.
It is, not being comfortable with not going with the traditional competitive bidding process. So that was a thing there along with the money. So I don't know if what you're talking about now is doing the traditional bidding process or not.
That's irrelevant, in my opinion, with how we're getting this done. So.
It may be in yours, but
So
at least with the RDC,
Well, if Mike is hung up on that element, we can rebid it. That's not a big deal and do it under the same specs that we already have for the 40-year roof. But the thing we need to know is what their sentiments are. Basically, let me be more clear. We need to know how much money they're okay with us taking from TIF.
I can
Regardless.
tell you with him, he knows that there was a spec building done, just within, I think it was 2023 in Kindaville. And that building, I believe was, is it 2.2? Because it was the cost of that was the same amount as the high bid for our roof. And he's like, how can that be? And then that Linamar building down there is like, you could buy that whole building for $1 million. So it's, for him, it's a combination of the cost and the way that it was originally bid for that $1.3 million price being locked into a particular.
So it was the
area.
cost though, which is.
It was cost and the
So-
process that it was done to obtain that cost.
So it's back to the original thing is what is the RDC willing to put forth to a roof?
Right. I
Because,
don't know the answer to that.
I mean, that's what we need to know. And then you can budget appropriately, and then we can figure out what we're doing from there.
Well, the process never came up, as I recall, at the RDC meeting as to, you know, that we were going this Garland approach. But so I don't know if all the members, if that's something they talked about afterward or what, or that they would feel the same way. But the money was, the sticker shock was the thing that I remember them reacting.
And to, you know, just so everybody knows, Central Noble just put on a roof. Their roof was a $4 million roof.
They also have solar panels on that though, too.
But that was just the roof. That wasn't the solar panels.
So that's not.
The elementary school doesn't have the solar.
The other building is.
No, all of Central Noble up here was $4 million. And that's quite a bit bigger than our building. But I don't know.
Also going broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that was a good thing to mention. So Carol, what is going to be the best way to do this for you?
The best way for me is for everybody to get things figured out and then budget for it in 2027. That's the best thing for me.
So I have a problem with that, just because we've been talking about this since January, Carol. And if that was like your sentiment, you should have pressed that a little bit more for us.
I thought I was pretty clear both verbally and in writing, how I felt about the process.
Well, the process, yes, but you did not like the not getting traditional bids. And I understood that, but at the same time, we're trying to appropriate for that. And I guess I was unaware that we needed to have this appropriated for 2026 by August. So I guess since we're there, I would like to have this appropriated by 2026 because we spent all of 2025 trying to figure this out. Is there a way that we can do that?
I need to know. We need to know how much the RDC is going to put forth towards the project.
Right.
And I needed to know that a few months ago.
Drop dead date is August 14th.
It's gotta be before that. We've got to have,
I need to know when she has to have the forms done.
August, her meeting is August 14th. So
Right, what's the drop dead date for the forms? She said she's still inputting stuff.
You can end up and change things, I guess, after, but I've never operated that way. I'm in a zone, we're in a zone now that I am so uncomfortable with as a clerk treasurer.
So how soon can we make a special request for the RDC to meet to see how much money they might be willing to put forth for?
Have you already submitted our budget?
No, I need this information in order to do that.
Right, what's the drop dead deadline to
So we
submit the
have, I've
budget?
given you a calendar, so you guys, I believe it is September 9th is when you guys will be acting on the budget. But I am actively working on those forms right now. It's not I just come in one morning and enter everything. It is a whole process with different forms and different sections in Gateway.
Well,
What if we made some assumptions? I was looking back at the RIF funding kind of breakdown that was provided to us in March of 2025. And what if we came up with a number tonight and we just make an assumption that we don't go above a certain percentage in the TIF? I know these balances are just a snapshot, but you know, if we said 10% or 20%, I think we can get to $1 million by breaking it out amongst the different departments and the TIF. And I think, can we use any CEDAT funds? Because as I was just trying to work the numbers, I think we could get to $1 million by doing that, and then that, I mean, I know it's not ideal, but it would at least allow you to pencil in those values percentage wise from each of the departments, and then we could have a decision from the RDC by September 9th.
I don't believe the roof was included in the CEDAT plan that was recently approved. You might be able to use a small portion out of maybe a more generic, like infrastructure.
Because they had outlined the values of the TIF 1, 2, CCD, and CEDAT funds. And it says, if no significant expenditures were planned for these cash reserves, some could be allocated to the roof project. So I just was doing rough math of if we did 10% from each of those, and then
To appropriate out of the cash
Yeah,
balance.
yeah.
And I don't know if you need to amend the CEDAT plan for that or not.
Okay.
Or if you can just do it.
Whole list of things. To confirm.
So regardless of whether they're gonna give us any money and how much, we still don't know if this is in their capital improvement plan.
They can put it in there for next year, right?
Yes, if it's not in there already, but you don't want to go through that process if it's adequately covered. I just want to verify it, and I don't know what the holdup is or why I can't seem to get access to information. I've requested it months ago, and I got no reply. That was a simple question.
So
We have to
I agree
update our
with you.
CEDAT plan.
Thank you. Excuse me?
If we want to use any CEDAT money, do we have to do something?
It has to be in the plan too, but, yeah, there's a different plan. It's an economic development plan. It's not as restrictive as the one with the RDC. There's just one, you have to go through the plan commission if it's not in.
I'm saying, I think it would be a fair assumption to ask them for 10% and that they would approve that from each of those two cash balances. And 20% wouldn't be like detrimental to the project if they didn't approve it. So then could we move forward with making a plan to appropriate? I mean, I know there's some assumptions in that, but at least it gives us some numbers to work with to start with.
The budget and the appropriation is more important timing wise than the plan. That all can come, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So don't let that issue stop you from moving forward. Carol's issue is the hard one, which is I need a number and a fund. But don't let the plans, whether they be seeded plans or capital improvement, those can all come if everybody's on the same page. It just takes some process to get there.
If you figure 3% of $1,000,003, that's 339,000, I'm sorry, $1,339,000 roughly. Okay, cost increase by waiting till next year. So if you call it $1,350,000, that ought to cover anything that we would have come up as far, and then we can do anything we want, correct, Carol? We can do a project for $1 million or 600,000. Does that affect you in any way if we budget for $1,350,000?
It's 1,342 now. We would need to budget for 1.4 million.
With your 3%, Smoke, you'd be at
382.
364,236 at a 3% raise of the $1,324,501.
I got 1,342. Did you get 1,324? I thought they were 1,342.
$1,004,000.
You're asking me to split that between multiple funds? Is that what we're talking about or what?
Multiple funds and, yeah,
I remember that too.
for 2026.
Not TIF?
And what are we gonna figure on TIF? We don't know.
So are we back to, let's get a special meeting with the RDC to see what they're gonna commit?
We need an answer from the RDC for you to complete your job.
Yes, thank you.
I think we need to have a special meeting if the RDC is willing to have that special meeting in short order.
Even if they meet the first week, that just is a week prior to Carol needing to have her ducks in a row.
See how much they're willing to support us on a percentage basis. Correct, Carol?
Well, getting an idea of how the dollar amount would be very
I was
10%
proposing
of-
a percentage thing if we were just gonna kind of pencil in and then have the meeting afterwards. But if we're gonna actually have the meeting, then I think we should ask them for a dollar amount
If it's 10%, it's 140,000.
of the balance, assuming that balance is close.
That's all you would be asking for from them on?
Out of 1.4 million, that would be 140,000, right?
Oh, I meant,
Because I would think you'd want to ask. for
yeah,
more.
I was thinking from
Of
each,
1.4
from
million?
each TIF,
10% from TIF 1 and 2.
each, so that would be cover,
Times,
so that'd be.
so you get 265 times 3% increase.
Because the problem's going to be depleting the cash balances in the other funds.
So you'd be closer to 300,000 you'd be asking from
Yeah.
TIF.
Split between the two.
10% of 1.4 million?
Yeah,
But
so
that's a
from
lot.
both,
That's a lot to come out of the other budget.
so that's TIF 1 and
Now
TIF
we're
2.
talking
And then that's added
three-quarters.
3% for next year.
Oh, you added 3%.
Now we're talking 3/4 of the project coming out of the budget and only a quarter coming out of the TIF from the RDC.
How much does the RD, how
Is
much
there
does
any way
TIF
our
1
budget
have
can
in it?
even hold that?
How much does TIF 1 have in it?
I'd have to look at the spreadsheet.
Right here, I got it.
Carol, at the 1.3 or 1.4, if we went 50/50, 50 from RDC, if, these are ifs. Can the budget withstand the other 50%?
I don't know without running the numbers, but I could appropriate that if that's how you want to do it. So basically you're saying 25 out of TIF 1, 25% out of TIF 2, and then 50% spread between these other funds. That at least gives me something to go on.
I'm just saying, if this is all mute, if there's not that much money in the department budgets.
So I'm doing 50% of 1.4 million for TIF.
Well, that's just what I'm asking. I'm just throwing that out.
I thought we were concerned that they would approve that much.
Well, I think there is a
I don't know,
concern,
I don't know what they're gonna do.
but there's also a concern with the department budgets. This is why Chris said an hour ago, you're kind of over the whole roof thing.
I think we all are.
Yeah, I am. I want to quit. Let the RDC
I
decide.
think that, we should do that. I think we should do 25% TIF 1, 25% TIF 2, and,
Propose that.
propose that. And the Peters said 20%, general. And then it was 10% water, 10% sewer, 40% street. And then what's that, 40, 60, 80, and 20%, please? That's exactly how he said. And he said even without the TIF money, with our cash reserves, that we should be able to do an additional appropriation and come up with that with the cash balances that we have on hand.
TIF money is
With
almost
additional
$3.6
appropriation.
million, just shy of $3.6 million in the TIF money. According to that paper.
Yeah, but we also have some things planned.
There's some things, obviously, they're budgeted against that.
Ideally, taking all we can out of TIF is, the most beneficial thing to do for the other budgets. But not knowing what the RDC is willing to do or give up in order to fund the road.
So are we doing a special meeting or are we just going with that? So that we can, kill this mockingbird? Guys, what are we doing?
Well, I don't know that we can assume they're 50% without having.
So are we
a
gonna
special
have, are we gonna have Steve arrange a special meeting? Okay, and that's gonna be not next week for you, Zane,
If you guys want me to go, I already have vacation planned.
for next week, so it'll be the week after, right?
So let's ask them about the first Wednesday, which is August 6th, because the plan commission is not meeting that night.
But in the meantime, are we giving Carol those numbers to stick in her thing?
To start with, I guess, say.
Did you get all that, Carol?
Possibly an RDC special meeting on August 6th. Is that correct?
Yes. So Steve, are you gonna handle that?
Yes, I can. I'll get, Kurt mentioned a 48-hour
Notice.
notice. When you say no, just something posted or?
Notice to all members, to the media that turned in their request January 1 and on the door. Yeah, you got it.
And an option is if the 6 o'clock does not work for them, the time can be changed as well. Not only their meeting date, but the time.
Okay.
And Steve, the RDC meeting agendas have to have their, all the names of the members, because they are appointed, they gotta have all that new, what their terms are, all that, just like Carol did on this.
And I gravitated toward that as a result of that on, I forget if it was Plan Commission or RDC, so I'll incorporate that. Thank you.
So we definitely want to have that notice out on August 1st, which is the Friday prior to the 6th.
Yeah.
Would you, just as soon as you know if that date is gonna work, would you move everyone else in on that?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
And then Chris and, actually, any of the Public Works members can go, but only you two. Okay. Only two council.
Too bad.
But any other. Okay, we are going to move on to consideration of parking and traffic ordinance.
Pardon me, Vicki, would you like in that, when I do set this up with RDC, want me to pose the specific agenda as far as the percentages we talked about, so they have that ahead of time, and we don't want to surprise them, but in other words, it would say, here's what we're asking for consideration and a vote.
How do you want him to handle the RDC?
The notice ultimately, and the agenda ultimately. Specific amounts, 25 to 1.
25 TIF too.
Yeah.
Just let him know ahead of time.
I would, and be specific in why we're having a special meeting. And the Public Works Committee is going to be here to make be there to make a presentation.
Okay, we'll do.
And
Just
Zane,
discuss. I'm not making.
Okay.
we're not making a presentation. Do you want Corey there? Or anyone there?
That can be determined later.
Okay, thank you.
Consideration of parking and traffic ordinance number 2025-09. and you're gonna give me
It's all
some
good.
guidance.
Oh, yes. So Marshall Scott has an ordinance he can present, what's in it, what you're looking for is a motion to approve, and then when that motion is approved, then you have another motion immediately thereafter to waive the second reading and adopt on its first reading, and that's all you need. So you don't have to get into any details unless you want to.
Do we have to do all this, read by title and all that stuff? So this is obsolete.
It's not
It's
required.
not obsolete, it's just we're not using it.
Really, it's ordinance number 2025-09 as presented by your marshal.
Scott,
Any questions over the confusing document? The documents I sent you were redlined. They were, hopefully the red line appeared on your end. There's the redactions and the additions, very limited redactions. A lot of additions that stems back about 4 years ago that never made it to the ordinance, so I've updated it all the way up to current. Does include the county, parking around the courthouse, and a lot of areas that were excluded.
Parking and Traffic Committee, Gerald and Abby, do you have anything you want to add?
This looks like a ton of work, and trust me, I did not go through it with a fine tooth comb because it was way too complicated.
You get cross-eyed after a while.
So we've had lots and lots of discussion about some of the issues, and this is going to give you the skin in the game that you need.
It's going to give me our part of the skin in the game. The county will give me the rest of the skin in the game through their attorney. And an ordinance to MOU type of ordinance to where I would have authority on their end of things too. So, and that was discussed along with the decals that's still in play.
This just enforces your town ordinance.
Yeah.
So
Part 2 is yet to come.
when we approve this, do we have to go through the rigmarole about suspending the rules and?
No.
Well, yes, I don't know what, first, a motion to approve the ordinance as presented, you could do it right now.
Okay,
Vote on it. When it's over, then motion to waive second reading.
and then just vote on it.
Vote on it, as long as that last one's unanimous, so then you just have to publish it.
If it's not unanimous, then we have to.
You have to do it again.
Okay, so I'll move to, is it ordinance 2025-09? I move to approve that.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor? Opposed?
And then
Waive second reading. and
I
adopt on
move
its
to
first
waive
reading.
the second reading and approve the ordinance, adopt on its first reading.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That was much simpler.
And thank you very much.
And much
Thank you for doing
easier.
the work, Scott. I read it. Some of it I didn't understand.
Agree.
I didn't understand because I couldn't get the road straight in my mind, so I had to get GIS out. Oh, yeah.
It was way too complicated. I know the roads.
I pulled up Beacon did it too, because I was trying to follow the road.
Yeah, I was following it. I'm going,
And
what
we're going to
street's
move on to
that?
approval of cemetery deeds. First one is conveying to Victoria Gibson and Alan Bridigan, lot number 185, section N, graves 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Can we do them both at the same time?
And conveying to Don Merriman and Sally Merriman, lot number 138, section M, graves 3 and 4.
Move to we approve
Second,
both cemetery deeds.
second.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Anyone have any other new business before I bring one upon us? I have had a day, and 90% of that day is town related. And that brings me to, we are going to be scheduling an this is only part of the day I've had with the town. We need to schedule an executive session to review and renegotiate a current contract with one of our employees. It is with the utmost time necessary. And will you explain?
Absolutely. So like the one you had tonight, without getting into the details of who, what, where, and when, you just need to approve a motion to authorize the setting of an executive session to deal with employee matters. And I will help Carol with the new statute and the notice that she has to post and a memorandum that follows. No decisions can be made, of course, in an executive session, but what you can do is work through the understanding with or without the particular employee invited in to basically go through the issues that need to be addressed from an administrative standpoint. So like the one we had earlier today, without talking about the specifics of it, you can invite a person in and then ask that person to leave, and then you can discuss. You cannot make a decision or deliberate specifics, but you can discuss. And then at some point, the president can work through the process of either having our office or whoever would negotiate an amendment to the contract, put that together. At some point, then it has to come in front of the public meeting for approval. So it's kind of a little bit of a multiple step process, but it starts with you guys setting an executive session, me getting Carol the appropriate notice in the memoranda, her posting it, knowing that we've got to have 48 hours just like the other, not counting weekends and holidays.
And I do feel the need to apologize. There's only 3 people in this room that know, but it is time sensitive. I ask that you trust me and know that we need to act on this very diligently. So.
Zane is on vacation
Yeah.
next week.
I will be available on the 28th of July. I'm going to be out of town starting Thursday and I won't be back till Sunday.
That's this week?
Yep.
When you say time sensitive, like this week?
No. No, I want us all to be part of this. And so we already know that Zane, well, today's Tuesday, so.
Almost Wednesday. I'm teasing.
So the 28th, is everyone available on the 28th?
Zany.
I am not. Do you need me there?
Oh, I'm sorry, the 28th is just next Monday.
You guys, if you want to have the meeting somewhere between the 23rd and the 25th, I'm not going to be here. Zane, are you going to be here?
I leave Monday morning, the 28th.
Okay. You don't have to have all,
You only need 3.
Only need 3.
all the council members. So if you want to do it sooner, don't
Well-
wait on me.
I was gonna say, I'm around. God knows I'm chained to home. Nobody lets me have any time off.
Aren't you your own boss?
Right, but you know what? It's not worth it. When you come back to 300 emails, it isn't worth it.
Carol, you're not available on the 28th.
No, I don't need to be there, though. I don't believe.
Okay.
Right. I don't need to be there.
If you're not, you have to send somebody, an executive session requires the clerk treasurer or her appointed designee to be present. So you can send your staff person the memoranda, and the point is to make sure that they don't talk about something they shouldn't. And of course, they won't. So, but you do have to have a representative there.
I'm gonna have it.
Not that I.
But I'll get you the notice once they make the motion. There's a memorandum for all of
First.
I'm still looking for that pizza.
I'm starving. You know what? I made chocolate
Matt,
chip
have you ate
cookies.
yet?
Not since last night.
Last night?
Stop that.
You haven't ate anything all day?
Do you need to ask Shannon? Yeah, you probably do.
You need to eat some
The
breakfast.
28th then,
Yeah.
because the notice would have to be done what, tomorrow?
I can do it tomorrow. Yeah. I'll get it done.
Can I, in case Shannon's not available, if there's any issues in that regard, can I serve or not as Carol's?
Not because you're not a qualified person, it's because it has to be from the clerk
From
treasurer.
the office, okay.
You were employed by the clerk treasurer? Yes.
Are we shooting for Monday?
Yeah, I'll verify that after Carol lets me know tomorrow whether either one of the,
I have a funeral tomorrow, but I guess I'll come in.
no, I can call in the morning and ask. You want me to do that, or Steve can ask?
I have a text her and see if she's available.
Somebody's gonna need to let me know, Carol, maybe yes or no, because
I think she's
I will have to
texting.
do
Are
the
you
notice.
texting her right now?
I have her phone number too.
But you're thinking the 28th at what time?
Not before 5. When can you be here? That's kind of important.
Yeah, I cannot. That is my REMC at the board meeting. And I can't get out of that.
What time will we
You
start?
don't have to have me here. If you work through what it is that you want, yeah, it's in the evening. It starts at 4:30.
What time would you be out of that?
3-4 hours.
We're not
Oh,
gonna-
hell no.
We're not gonna make any decisions anyway. We're just
Right.
gonna
Yeah, we're not making any
And my
decisions.
suggestion, which we haven't gotten there yet, is if you set the date and time, then also after that motion would be to authorize you to negotiate new terms and conditions. And then at that point, you can bring them to me and I can work through them.
Okay, okay.
Who are the 3 possible members for Monday that can attend?
Abby, what time would you be available?
Okay.
Because you work.
I'll be back Monday.
You'll be back on Monday too? Okay. Daryl said he'll be back on Monday too.
Yeah. so-
And Abby's around on Monday too.
So Zane can go on vacation.
Well, we want to make it a time where Abby could come too.
So what time did you say, Abby?
Because she works in Kendallville.
Monday at 5. But, and you can't do it till 5.
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't do it.
I can maybe change that. I can change that.
Are you sure?
Do you guys want to do July 28th, probably at 5?
5 on the 28th?
Unless we hear from you. Unless we hear differently, we're gonna pencil that in.
Yes. Set an executive.
That,
Well, she's,
well, we gotta wait till we hear from Carol.
Make a motion contingent upon.
Okay, make a motion. We have an executive session July 28th at 5 PM, contingent upon Carol's confirmation.
I'll second that.
we have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And then not in the executive session, but outside of the executive session, a motion to authorize the town council president to negotiate terms and conditions of that contract with that particular employee. Somebody can make that motion.
Outside of the executive session.
Right now or later on Monday?
Later.
After the discussion on the 28th?
Then you would be authorized now to work with the employee and whoever you need, Steve, me, Carol, to develop new terms and conditions.
So you need a motion tonight. Okay. For that
Okay.
to happen Monday night after the executive
Or
session.
anytime thereafter.
Okay, I'm gonna make that motion to authorize Vicky to work with either Steve and the employee and Kurt to negotiate with said employee to work out the terms after the executive session.
Wow.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Who seconded the one?
Abby.
No.
Chris
I did
motioned.
The last one, but the one to set the meeting at number 28.
I did.
Or have we done the payables yet?
We're getting there.
Okay,
Okay, thank you all very much for that. And we will move on to approval of accounts payable and payroll vouchers, July 2nd and July 22nd.
July 10th.
I'm sorry, July 10th. I looked at it.
I move we approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed?
Move we approve for, I'll make a motion for adjournment. And thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.